The warship drifted at the edge of the trade system, like a forgotten piece of metal. Its hull was dull and uneven, marked with old repair plates and faded human symbols. Many ships passed by it every day, fast and shining, filled with noise and pride. None of them slowed down. None of them saw value in the old human vessel. To most of the galaxy, it looked weak, slow, and useless. Inside the ship, the air was quiet and steady. The lights were soft, not bright. The walls showed age, but they were clean and well kept. The ship was not abandoned. It was waiting. Commander Kong Dejin stood on the bridge with his hands behind his back. He was not tall, and he did not wear heavy armor. His uniform was plain. His face showed calm focus, not fear or pride. He watched the slow movement of ships on the main display. Trade vessels, patrol craft, foreign military ships that did not bother to hide their weapons. They all ignored him. That was expected. Han Yuri sat at the engineering console, her fingers moving with quiet speed. She checked systems that most outsiders believed were broken or outdated. Power flow was stable. Hull integrity was strong. The ship's core hummed like a living thing, slow and deep. External scans are clean, she said. No direct threats. But long-range signals are rising. Dejin nodded once. From where? Outer lane. Beyond the gas belt. He already knew the answer. This system was important. It connected several trade routes and fuel stations. Humans had claimed it long ago, but they no longer controlled it by force. Other species believed humans were tired, weak, too careful. The ship's name did not help. It was called the HRS Stillwater, not a battle name, not a threat, a joke, according to many. Lee Era, the pilot, leaned back in her seat. She looked young, but her eyes were sharp. They're not hiding anymore, she said. Big group. Military shape. Dejin turned slightly. How many? Era paused as data filled her screen. More than we can fight, she said honestly. If we were what they think we are. A small smile touched Yuri's face, but she said nothing. The Stillwater did not change position. It did not raise shields. It did not send warnings. It simply stayed. Hours passed. Then minutes. Then moments. A hostile fleet arrived like a storm. Long ships with sharp lines and glowing weapons spread across the system. Their hulls reflected light like blades. They moved with confidence, filling space with power. Other ships fled. Trade vessels jumped away without waiting for clearance. Patrol ships moved aside. No one wanted to be between that fleet and its target. The target was clear, the old human warship. A signal came through, strong and mocking. Human vessel, the alien commander said. You are blocking a military operation. Power down and move aside. You are not worth destroying. The bridge of the Stillwater remained quiet. Dejin stepped forward and pressed the reply control himself. This system is under human protection, he said in a calm voice. You are not permitted to advance. There was a pause. Then laughter filled the channel. Protection, the alien voice said. With that ship. More laughter followed. Dejin closed the channel without reply. Yuri looked up. Orders. Hold position, Dejin said. Begin Phase 1 readiness. The Stillwater did not move. The hostile fleet spread wider, surrounding the human ship at a safe distance. Their weapons glowed brighter. Sensors locked on. Every scan focused on the old hull. Inside the Stillwater. Hidden systems woke. Deep within the ship, layers of armor adjusted. Power routes shifted. Old-looking panels hid advanced structures beneath them. The ship was not slow. It was patient. Yuri monitored internal changes. All systems responding, she said. No external signs. That is the point, Dejin replied. Another message arrived. This is your final warning, the alien commander said. We will fire a test shot. Your reaction will decide your survival. Era tightened her grip on the controls. They want to scare us. They always do, Dejin said. Space flashed. A bright beam crossed the distance and struck near the still water. The shockwave rolled across the hull. Sensors screamed. Metal groaned. The still water drifted on. No shields. No return fire. Observers across the system watched closely. Some felt pity. Others felt relief that the old human ship would finally be gone. Inside the bridge, no one moved. Yuri checked readings. Damage minimal, she said. Armor absorbed most of it. Show them, Dejin said quietly. Era nodded and made a small adjustment. A faint shimmer appeared around the still water. Not a full shield. Just enough to be seen. The hostile fleet fell silent. Another message came, this time less amused. You still stand, the alien commander said. Interesting. Dejin responded. We are still here. The alien fleet fired again, stronger this time. Multiple beams struck the ship. The shimmer bent and faded. The hull shook. Warning lights flashed. The still water drifted back slightly, then stopped. Yuri exhaled slowly. All within limits. Dejin watched the enemy formation. They're adjusting, he said. They think they're close. They are not, Yuri said. The hostile fleet moved closer, confident now. They believed the human ship was barely holding together. That belief was the weapon. Deep inside the still water. The core released stored energy that had been building for years. Human engineers had designed it this way. Slow charge. Long wait. One chance. Dejin raised his hand. Prepare to engage, he said. Limited response only. Era's eyes widened slightly. Weapons. Precision only, Dejin said. Let them feel it. Not understand it. The still water fired. A single pulse left the ship, quiet and focused. It struck one enemy vessel at its side. The ship did not explode. Its lights went dark. It drifted, silent and dead. The hostile fleet froze. Confusion spread across their formation. Another pulse followed. Another ship went dark. No fire. No noise. Just silence. The alien commander's voice returned, sharp, intense. What did you do? Dejin did not answer. The still water remained still, surrounded by enemies who no longer laughed. Across the system, observers leaned closer to their screens. The old human warship, the one no one took seriously, had spoken, and the battle had only begun. Silence spread across space after the last human pulse struck. The enemy ships drifted in place, their formations broken by confusion. Sensors flashed across their bridges as commanders tried to understand what had happened. 2 ships were gone, not destroyed, but emptied of power like bodies without breath. Inside the still water, the crew stayed calm. The bridge lights dimmed slightly as systems shifted. Nothing rushed. Nothing screamed. Human ships were not built for quick glory. They were built to last. Commander Kong Dejin studied the enemy fleet with careful eyes. He watched how their ships adjusted, how their weapons charged again, how fear slowly replaced pride. Fear always showed itself in small ways first. They are pulling back, Lee Era said. Just a little. They need space to think, Dejin replied. Give it to them. Han Yuri leaned closer to her console. They are scanning us deeper now, she said. They are trying to see what we are hiding. They will see what we allow, Dejin said. The still water released a faint signal. Old data. False damage reports. Power readings that suggested strain and weakness. To an outside observer, the ship looked wounded, barely holding together after the last attack. The enemy fleet reacted quickly. They believe us, Era said softly. That belief will cost them. Yuri replied. A new transmission cut through space. Human commander, the alien leader said. His voice was tight, controlled. You have disabled 2 of our vessels. That action will not be ignored. Stand down now, or you will be erased. Daijin waited a moment before answering. You entered protected space, he said. We defended it. You are alone, the alien commander said. You are surrounded. Daijin looked at the stars beyond the screen. So are you. The channel closed. The enemy fleet advanced again, slower this time, weapons charging in careful patterns. They spread out, trying to reduce the effect of whatever weapon the human ship had used. Their movements were smart, trained, and dangerous, but they were still predictable inside the still water. Deep systems aligned. Gravity control nodes adjusted their focus. Energy storage cells unlocked, releasing power that had been held for years. The ship did not glow. It did not shine. It absorbed its own strength like a closed fist. Yuri spoke quietly. Phase 2 is ready. Daijin nodded. Selective pressure. Era guided the ship forward for the first time. The still water moved. It did not rush. It did not charge. It slid through space with steady intent, straight toward the center of the hostile formation. Enemy sensors reacted at once. Weapons locked on. Target alarms screamed across alien bridges. They're aiming everything at us, Era said. Good, Daijin said. The first barrage hit hard. Beams and projectiles struck the still water from multiple angles. Space lit up with force. The ship shook. Hull layers shifted, bending instead of breaking. Energy spread across the surface, flowing into channels hidden beneath the metal skin. Inside, warning lights appeared, then faded. Damage reports, Daijin said. Acceptable, Yuri replied. Armor adapting. Power rerouting. The ship moved deeper. Enemy ships closed in, believing they had found a weakness. They fired again, stronger, closer. Some ships pushed too far forward, eager to land the final blow. That was when the still water changed the field. Gravity around the human ship shifted, not enough to crush, not enough to tear apart, just enough to pull. Enemy ships felt it first as drag, then as pressure. Their formations tightened against their will. Pilots struggled to adjust. Commands overlapped. Panic rose. Era adjusted the ship's path smoothly, guiding the gravity flow like a river. They're bunching up, she said. Let them, Daijin replied. The still water fired again, this time. Not pulses, but arcs of controlled force that jumped between ships. Systems failed. Weapons went silent. Shields collapsed. Ships drifted helplessly into each other, unable to escape the invisible pull. One enemy ship tried to ram the still water. Era turned slightly. The ship missed by meters. Caught by its own momentum and crushed by pressure, it could not escape. The hostile fleet broke formation. Retreat orders spread too late. Multiple ships attempting to withdraw. Yuri said, "Jump drives charging." "No," Daijin said calmly. "Not yet." The still water released signal spikes that disrupted jump calculations. Not a weapon meant to kill, but to delay. Human doctrine favored control over destruction. Enemy ships stalled, trapped between fear and force. The alien commander's voice returned, strained and angry. "This is not possible. That ship is outdated. Your technology is obsolete." Daijin answered without emotion. "You confuse age with weakness." A pause followed. Then the enemy fleet made a final decision. They attacked together. Every remaining ship fired at once. Space filled with light and violence. The still water disappeared behind waves of energy. Observers across the system believed the human ship was finally gone. Inside the storm, The still water endured. Armor layers peeled and reformed. Energy shields bloomed and folded. The core released power in steady rhythm, never spiking, never failing. Human engineers had designed it to survive the worst moments, not shine during easy ones. Yuri clenched her jaw. We're reaching safe limits. Dejin placed a hand on the command rail. Hold. Seconds passed like hours. And the storm ended. The still water emerged scarred but whole. Enemy ships hung in space. Weapons drained, systems failing. Some burned. Some drifted. Some went silent forever. The alien commander did not speak again. Era slowed the ship and returned it to its original position. We can finish them, she said. Dejin shook his head. Not yet. He looked at the broken fleet before him. They still need to understand. Yuri watched the enemy ships struggle to stabilize. They will talk about this, she said. Others will hear. That is the goal, Dejin replied. Across the system. Fear replaced laughter. The old human warship remained in place. Damaged, quiet, and undefeated. And for the first time, the galaxy began to realize it had made a serious mistake. The enemy fleet no longer moved with confidence. Ships that once held perfect lines now drifted in broken patterns. Some spun slowly. Others burned in silence. A few tried to restore order, but fear had already taken control. Inside the still water, the bridge remained calm. The ship was scarred now. Plates were cracked. Sections of the hull showed heat marks and torn metal. To an outside eye, it looked close to failure. That was another lie. Commander Kang Dejin watched the enemy through the main display. His face showed no joy and no anger, only focus. He studied how the fleet reacted, how panic spread, how discipline failed under pressure. They are sending internal signals, Han Yuri said. Short-range coordination. They are trying to regroup. Let them try, Dejin replied. Lee Era adjusted the ship's position by a small amount. The still water rotated slowly, keeping its damaged side visible to the enemy. They think we are tired, Era said. They need to believe that, Dejin said. The still water released more false data. Power fluctuations, cooling failures, structural stress warnings. Any standard military would retreat under such readings. The enemy commanders saw hope. A new voice replaced the earlier leader. Younger, sharper, human ship. The new commander said, You have proven stronger than expected. But strength fades. You are damaged. We are not. Dejin waited before responding. Damage is not defeat, he said. You are alone, the alien commander said. No reinforcements are coming. Dejin looked at his crew. We have enough. The enemy ships began to move again, slowly at first, then with growing speed. Smaller vessels pushed forward, testing weapons firing in narrow bursts. The still water did not respond. Beams struck the hull. Metal screamed. Internal alarms flickered. Yuri spoke evenly. Outer layers failing by design. Era nodded. Control steady. The enemy ships moved closer. Too close. Dejin raised his hand. Now, deep inside the still water, sealed systems opened for the first time since launch. These systems were never meant for patrol or defense. They were meant for survival against extinction. Space bent, not visibly, not dramatically. Just enough. Enemy ships felt it like a weight pressing on their hulls. Gravity fields shifted in uneven waves, different for each ship. Pilots fought their controls. Formation discipline collapsed. One ship lost balance and collided with another. A third was pulled sideways, smashing into debris from an earlier wreck. Era guided the still water through the chaos like a stone through water. They can't stabilize, she said. They weren't trained for this, Yuri added. They rely on rigid control. Dejin nodded. Humans learned flexibility the hard way. The Stillwater fired again. This time, the weapons did not aim at ships. They targeted space itself. Controlled gravity pulses rippled outward, striking enemy vessels at different intervals. Engines stalled. Power grids overloaded. Ships went dark without warning. The battlefield became a graveyard of drifting metal. The alien commander shouted orders that no one could follow. Channels filled with overlapping voices, fear, and confusion. "Pull back," the commander shouted. "All ships retreat now." Jump drives began to charge again. Yuri's fingers moved faster. "They are forcing the jump." "Let some go," Dejin said. Era looked back. "Some? Yes," Dejin replied. "The rest must stay." Signal interference spread outward from the Stillwater. Jump calculations failed. Space folded unevenly. Several enemy ships tore themselves apart trying to escape. Others vanished. Few succeeded. Those few carried fear with them. The remaining enemy ships were trapped. Silence returned, broken only by distant alarms and burning wreckage. The Stillwater slowed and stopped. Yuri leaned back slightly, breathing out. "We are pushing limits." "We are still within purpose," Dejin said. Era glanced at the ship's status. "Hull integrity is low by appearance only," she said. "Core stable." The enemy flagship drifted ahead, its weapons offline but its power still active. Dejin studied it for a long moment. "Open a channel," he said. The alien commander appeared on screen. His posture was rigid. His eyes showed disbelief. "You hid this power," the commander said. "We did not hide," Dejin replied. "You chose not to look." "This ship should not exist," the alien said. Dejin's voice remained calm. "It exists because we almost did not." The alien commander fell silent. Dejin ended the transmission. He turned to his crew. "Prepare for final phase." Yuri hesitated. "That system has not been used outside tests." "It was built for moments like this," Dejin said. Era tightened her grip. "Once we start, there is no hiding anymore." Dejin nodded. "They already know." Deep within the Stillwater, locks released. Energy flowed into channels long untouched. The ship began to hum, louder than before, deeper. Across the system, observers felt at Dot something had changed. The old human warship no longer looked weak, that it looked inevitable. The hum inside the Stillwater deepened and spread through the ship like a steady heartbeat. The sound was not loud, but it was heavy. Every system felt it. Every wall seemed to carry it forward. The ship was no longer pretending to be weak. Commander Kang Dejin stood firm as new data filled the bridge. The displays showed rising energy levels that would frighten most crews. No one panicked. They had trained for this moment in silence, and Patience Dathan Yuri watched the core with careful focus. "Primary reserves are opening," she said. "Secondary lines are stable. We can sustain this longer than projected." "That was always the plan," Dejin replied. Lee Era adjusted the ship's orientation, bringing the Stillwater to face the center of the trapped enemy fleet. Wreckage drifted between them like broken bones. The enemy flagship still held power, but it did not move. It watched out the Stillwater moved forward. This time, there was no slow drift. The ship advanced with controlled force, pushing through space as if it owned it. Gravity fields bent smoothly around its hull, clearing debris without impact. Enemy ships reacted with fear. Some fired weak shots. Others tried to signal surrender. A few attempted to flee, but their engines failed under the pressure of warp space. "They are losing control," Era said. "They lost it earlier," Dejin said. "Now they understand." The Stillwater released its first full-field pulse. Space trembled. It was not an explosion. It was a wave of command. Gravity shifted across the battlefield, not crushing, but aligning everything toward the human ship. Enemy vessels were dragged into fixed paths, unable to turn or escape. Weapon systems shut down as safety limits triggered and failed. Yuri spoke quietly. Field dominance achieved. Dajin nodded. Begin resolution. Human weapons activated across the ship. They did not fire wildly. Each shot was measured. Each strike disabled engines, command centers, and power cores with cold accuracy. Ships went dark one after another. The enemy fleet collapsed. The alien commander's voice broke through again, strained and raw. "Stop," he said. "We surrender. This battle is over." Dajin opened the channel. "This battle ended when you chose to test us," he said. "What happens now depends on what you do next." The alien commander hesitated. "We will withdraw," he said. "We will leave this system." "You cannot," Dajin replied. "Your fleet cannot move." Silence followed. Yuri glanced up. "They are waiting for destruction," she said. "They expect it." Dajin considered the broken fleet before him. "They expect humans to act like them." He raised his hand. "Cease fire." Era looked surprised, but obeyed. The weapons powered down. The gravity field eased slightly, enough to prevent movement, but not enough to crush. The enemy ships remained trapped, helpless but alive. Dajin addressed the fleet openly, broadcasting on all channels. "You entered human space believing we were weak. You believed age meant decay. You believed patience meant fear." He paused. "You were wrong." Across the system, observers listened. Traders, patrol crews, hidden watchers who would later spread the story. "Humans endure," Dajin continued. "We adapt. We survive when others fall. This ship was built after we almost disappeared. It exists so that we never forget what that cost." The enemy commander lowered his head. Yuri leaned closer to Dajin. "Core strain is increasing," she said. "We cannot hold full control forever." Dajin nodded. "We don't need to." He issued new orders. "Begin controlled release. One corridor only." Era adjusted the field. A narrow path opened through space, leading away from the system. The enemy commander looked up. "You are letting us leave." "Yes," Dajin said. "You will carry this memory with you." Some enemy ships powered up slowly, moving through the corridor with caution and disbelief. Others were too damaged and remained behind, drifting and silent. The flagship stayed. Dajin watched it carefully. "You," he said, addressing the alien commander directly. "You will answer for this." The commander did not resist. "We misjudged humanity," he said. "We will not again." "That is not your choice alone," Dajin replied. The corridor closed. Only wreckage and silence remained. Yuri exhaled deeply. "Field disengaging," she said. "Core returning to low draw." The hum faded. The ship systems settled into their usual quiet rhythm. Era leaned back in her seat. "They will talk," she said. "Everywhere." "They should," Dajin said. Outside, rescue signals began to appear from disabled enemy ships. Life pods drifted among wreckage. Yuri looked at Dajin. "Orders. Begin rescue operations," he said. Era turned sharply. "Rescue." "Yes," Dajin replied. "We end this the human way." The still water moved slowly through the battlefield, extending recovery arms and signal beacons. Medical teams prepared inside, not for all eyes, but for former enemies. Observers across the system did not understand at first. Then they did. The old human warship, scarred and quiet, was saving the lives of those it had defeated. Fear spread faster than destruction ever could. The galaxy watched. And the legend of the Stillwater became something far greater than a weapon. The battlefield grew quiet in a way that felt heavy rather than empty. Wreckage drifted slowly, turning in soft light. Rescue lights blinked among broken ships. The still water moved through the field with steady care. Like a watchful presence that refused to rush inside the ship, teams worked without noise or praise. Doors opened and closed. Medical bays filled. Gravity fields adjusted to pull life pods close without harm. The crew did not speak much. They focused on the work. Commander Kong Dajin watched the operation from the bridge. He saw injured enemies brought aboard. He saw fear in their eyes turn into confusion, then into quiet relief. No one was mistreated. No one was mocked. Han Yuri stood beside him, reviewing system reports. Core is stable, she said. Damage control is holding. We will need time for full repairs. We have time, Dajin replied. Lee Era guided the ship along a careful path, avoiding debris and dead zones. Signals are spreading, she said. News channels. Private relays. Military lines. They will spread faster than light, Yuri said. They already have. Dajin replied. Across known space, recordings replayed again and again. The old human ship. The silent advance. The collapse of a fleet that had never lost before. Analysts argued. Commanders denied. Traders whispered. One truth remained. Humans were not weak. The enemy flagship still drifted nearby, held in a gentle field. Its commander waited in custody, not bound, not harmed. He sat in a quiet room and stared at a wall that showed stars. Dajin entered alone. The alien commander stood. You saved my crew, he said. We saved lives, Dajin replied. The rest is your choice. The alien lowered his head. We believed humans survived only because others allowed it. Dajin said nothing. You could have destroyed us, the alien continued. You did not. Dajin looked at the stars. Destruction is easy, he said. Endurance is harder. The alien swallowed. What will happen now? You will be returned, Dajin said. You will speak of what you saw. Others will decide what to believe. And if they come again, Dajin met his eyes. They will not come laughing. The alien nodded once. Dajin left the room. On the bridge, Yuri watched the system traffic return slowly. Trade ships appeared at the edge of sensors, careful and distant. Patrol craft sent cautious greetings. They are watching us, she said. They should. Era replied. The Stillwater finished rescue operations and released the last damaged enemy ships toward a nearby neutral station. Medical data was shared. Coordinates were provided. No demands were made. Then the ship turned away. It did not stay to accept praise. It did not broadcast victory. It simply left. As the Stillwater moved toward deep space, messages followed it. Requests for alliance. Warnings. Questions. Demands for explanation. Dajin ignored them all. The ship slipped into quieter lanes, where stars were dim and old routes crossed empty distances. The crew rested in shifts. Repairs continued. The hum of the core returned to its familiar low rhythm. Era looked at the fading system behind them. They will tell stories, she said. Yes, Yuri replied. And they will be wrong in many ways. Dajin allowed himself a small breath. That is fine. He walked the corridors of the Stillwater, past worn panels and old markings. Each scar told a story of survival. Each repair was a promise kept. Long ago, humans had learned a hard lesson. Loud strength invited challenge. Quiet strength endured. The Stillwater was proof. Far away, councils met. Fleets were recalled. Borders were redrawn. Some leaders chose fear. Others chose caution. A few chose respect. Human space grew quieter, not because humans hid, because no one wished to test them again. The Stillwater continued its patrol, old and unimpressive to those who saw only the surface. It drifted near forgotten places and watched silent stars. It waited. Commander Kong Dajin stood on the bridge once more, hands behind his back, eyes forward. Han Yuri adjusted systems beside him. Lee Era guided the ship with steady hands. They were not heroes in their own eyes. They were caretakers. The warship, no one took, gravely moved on, carrying its scars, its secrets, and its promise. Among the stars, a simple truth had been written. Humans do not need to be feared to be dangerous. They only need to endure.